All right, good afternoon and welcome to Mondays with the Mayor. I'm Laura, and joining me today we have our Parks and Recreation Director, Rod Tarullo. Welcome, Rod.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Good to have you here. We've got a couple of, we have an exciting grand opening of Golden's newest park, which is why I asked Rod to join us today to talk a little bit about DeLong Park. So just to start out, DeLong Park, we purchased the property back in December of 2017, and it actually doesn't feel that long ago until I saw that written down. It seems like just the other day. DeLong properties at 395 23rd Street, and it was acquired for the specific purpose of making a neighborhood park. So prior to that time, the Parks and Recreation Master Plan identified a need for a park in that neighborhood for those homes. And that particular parcel of property fit that need to make a neighborhood park. So we had a lot of public meetings at the time, a lot of input from the community about what they wanted, and an awful lot of work done by the Parks and Recreation and Museums Board and the Parks Department team to get the park completed. And I know the fencing was removed, so it is now open as a park. The other interesting thing about the park is some community members asked the city about an organic park, and DeLong Park is the pilot project for the city's first organic park location. And there's a group of volunteers who are going to be working to keep that park pesticide free. So that's a little highlight, but I'm going to ask for some details from you because you've got all of that. So tell a little history about, a little bit about the history of DeLong Park. Why is it called DeLong Park?
Well, it's called DeLong Park because the property that it sits on was originally owned by the DeLong family. And in the 2006 Parks and Recreation Master Plan, there was a need identified, an unmet park need in that area. And as you mentioned, Mayor, this location ended up being one that was sought after, and we worked with that family for almost 10 years to be able to acquire it. And as a part of the acquisition, we agreed that we would name the park DeLong Park. And so it is a beautiful piece of ground that's just under an acre. It has lots of features that you would find in other neighborhood parks. It has a playground area, a shelter, some nice site furnishings, some rock and benches that people can sit on. Some bluegrass area to be able to throw a frisbee or kick a ball, but it also has a lot of native grasses around the perimeter to help with water conservation. And it also has a small pollinator garden that is very popular these days to have in parks. So that's kind of what you'll see when you go there.
Well, fantastic. I actually haven't been on site yet since it's been open. I've been by when the fencing was still up, so I'm excited to get out there and look at it and check it all out. One of the things that's different about this park is the pilot program for the to make it an organic park. So we haven't done this before in Golden. So tell us a little bit about what we're trying.
Thank you. So the intent of this park, the pilot project, is that we will not put anything synthetic in this park. Nothing in pesticides, fertilizers, any of those things. It would be totally organic and in nature in all of those horticultural practices. And we felt like this would be a really good location to have a pilot project because of its size and because we're starting brand new. And so all of the grasses that we've put in and all of those things from the very, very beginning have not had anything chemical put on them that's synthetic. Now that raises some challenges though. And one of the challenges we have is the area that I mentioned around the perimeter are native grasses, and they've been hydromulched and seeded in. And we did a really good job of amending the soil to make sure that it would give the very best growing conditions it could for all the various grasses. Well, that makes it very popular with weeds. And anyone that has ever experienced trying to plant native grasses knows that in Colorado, to get a good stand of native grass will take 2 to 3 years. And so over the next 2 to 3 years, you are going to see weeds, and it isn't going to be a beautiful, well-manicured part of the park. And we just have to be patient, and it eventually will come along. An example of that would be the lid at 19th and 6th Avenue. When we planted that, it took multiple years of it not looking the best until the grass stands finally came up to a way that was satisfactory to our citizenry. So we have this volunteer group that are weed busters that are out working on removing weeds. And it's really tricky because we aren't applying pesticides to kill the weeds, we're actually hand pulling them. And they've donated, we've only had the park back from the contractor for a couple of weeks, and I know that there have been dozens of hours already put in to trying to pull the weeds that are there. This is going to take place over the next several years. And so if people are interested, we have a process to get them signed on as volunteers. This current group meets Thursday mornings from 8 in the morning till 10 in the morning, and everyone's welcome to come pull.
Pull some weeds.
Yeah.
I like that, the official Weed Busters team. I think that's great. Golden always has a strong turnout of volunteers, so it's great to see that, and yet one more effort. If you are interested in joining us for the grand opening ribbon cutting of the park, we are doing the DeLong Park ribbon cutting this Tuesday at 5:30. It's at the park, and like I said, it's on 23rd Street. It's located between East Street and Table Heights Drive. If you haven't been by there, come join us, check it out. It's really beautiful. We'll just have a brief ceremony, and we can all walk around, check it out, check out the pollinators, check out the native grasses. If you are interested in helping to be a part of the organic park movement and effort, please do take a look at signing up to be a volunteer, helping with that effort. It's a good reminder that we need to be patient over the next couple of years until everything gets established and we have the park looking the way that we all want it to look, but it's going to take some time. So good reminder for all of us, and a reminder that you can help be part of that effort by volunteering. All of the information about DeLong Park and the history can be found on Guide and Golden under the DeLong Park page. So if you're interested in finding out more details, you can visit Guide and Golden. So that's on Tuesday night. Since I had Mr. Cerullo here, I wanted to talk about the topic that I have been hearing the most about from other mayors. So last week I was at a Metro Mayor's meeting, and every city is trying to recruit and hire lifeguards, and every city mentioned that they are struggling to hire lifeguards. So what is going on with the lifeguard shortage, and what does that mean for us here in Golden?
You are right. Everyone is struggling to find lifeguards. Private pools, public pools, and it's not just a Colorado or a metro area. It's a national situation. And we found through the pandemic that we lost a lot of our lifeguard staff. And it isn't a job that you can just be hired on and they put you on the deck. There's training that is involved, and there are not people out there that have been signing up to go to work. So that's no different here in Golden. I can tell you that this time, pre-pandemic, we would have about 100 lifeguards.
Oh, wow.
And right now, our count is at 49. We have done multiple training classes, and we have 15 people that are going to be graduating from those classes in the next few weeks. But that still doesn't get us close to where we were before the pandemic. Everyone has tried all sorts of different things. We've raised the wage considerably. There are different kinds of incentives that different organizations have put out there, and even with those efforts, we are all short-staffed. And so we make adjustments, and we've made some adjustments this year, and I'd like to share a few of those.
Oh,
with you.
I'd like to hear what's different this summer.
You bet. So with less guards, our focus is on splash. It's an outdoor venue, and that's where people like to be. And so we are putting the bulk of our guard capacity out at splash. And what that means is that the community center pools that we have will be not operating on Saturdays and Sundays. We're directing all of our workforce out to the splash instead. Now, the one little caveat for that is if we have weather forecasts where the weather will be less than 65 degrees for a high, we don't open splash. And so if we see that coming, we will likely open the community center and leave splash closed on those lesser temperature days. Some of the other things that are going on there, we have not accepted the large groups that we had previously for splash, like daycares from across the metro area. We are not doing as many of those this year. Our hours have been tweaked just a little bit. We have a hierarchy within the complex, so if we are a little understaffed, the diving board area would be an area that we would shut down first, not all of the other play apparatus. Our concession area, we won't be running the grill this year, but we will have prepackaged food there. And at the community center, the main pool will only be used for lap swimming, and the leisure pool at the community center, you need to have a reservation to be able to go. And the reason for that is with these lifeguard situations, sometimes people are sick or they can't make a shift, and we want to make sure that when someone comes to the community center to swim in that pool, that we're not going to disappoint them when they get there by saying, sorry, we weren't able to open. So through the reservation system, we can contact people if those kinds of circumstances come up.
Makes a lot of sense. I know everybody enjoys getting in the water in the summer. It hasn't been too hot yet, but as soon as those temperatures get up, it's what we all look to do. So definitely take a look online, look at Splash, look at the hours. If you're uncertain what's open or not, call and make sure that you know what's going on before you pack up the family and head on over to either Splash or the community center pool. But that's great, and it's great that we're able to have lifeguards to at least open up our pools for the summertime. I've got a couple of other updates to share today. The big one is City Council got through the semifinalist for our city manager recruitment, and either later today or soon here we will have an announcement of the finalists, and you'll be able to read all of their information on Guiding Golden. We were so thrilled. We had more than 85 applicants for the position, a really great response both nationally and within the state. We reviewed a subset of 20 highly qualified semifinalists, and we have now identified our finalist, which includes 4 external candidates and then 1 internal candidate from Golden. So those 5 will be our finalists moving forward. They'll be coming to Golden to meet the community. It's some different meet and greets, as well as the interviews with City Council, so that we can collect all of that input and select the best candidate to serve the City of Golden for the future. There will be a lot more information about that final schedule, but plan on the last week in June. So they will be in town Sunday, June 26th through Tuesday, June 28th for various interview panels, meet and greet opportunities, a tour of the city. All of that will be going on those 3 days towards the end of the month. And if you can't make it in person and you really like to meet the finalists or hear from them, we are going to try to have some options for the community to be able to watch online. So look for all of that to come very soon, and we'll post all the information on Guiding Golden. We'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow night when City Council meets. at our 6:30 meeting. The big topic for tomorrow night's meeting is the Course Tech property that is up on second reading with a public hearing. So if you've been following that along for the past months, this is the city council vote tomorrow night. And all the public comments that were provided from Planning Commission have been provided to council and are available in the packet. But if you would like to share your thoughts about the Course Tech development project, you can email public comment at cityofgolden.net, or you can show up at our meeting and provide live comment during the public hearing. So again, Course Tech's on the agenda tomorrow night, city council meeting starting at 6:30. And the final thing I wanted to mention, just a reminder, I know many of us were out this past weekend in Golden. It was a beautiful, beautiful weekend. The weather was perfect. And we are continuing to roll out changes along the Clear Creek corridor. I noticed some new signs popping up. We are working on those new parking rules, which will change parking in the corridor, and there's new enforcement that will be going into effect. So, reminder just to stay on top of that, look at what's new before you come down to 10th Street and along the creek to visit. And you can check again online for all of the new or all of the changes that we're implementing this summer. So Guiding Golden is your friend. Check it out for all of these changes, for more information. If you have questions about the creek rules, or you want to report feedback about what you see along the creek, the city has a new email address, creek@cityofgolden.net. And so you can send your inquiries or your feedback to that email. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll see you again next week for Mondays with the Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tarullo.
Thank you.